This is my neighbor, the Swedish king, at least one of his summer residents mostly used for hunting. In this video, the Swedish king, Kung Carl Gustaf XVI, plays a big part. In 1973, when Kiss makes their debut at Queen's Country Club in New York, our Swedish king picks up our new queen from Germany, Silvia Sommerlath, in a Porsche 911 Targa.
Perhaps this is the reason why such a small country as Sweden has become a Porsche nation. Example, Porsche Club Sweden is the third largest Porsche club in the world, and I've been in the border until recently when I resigned. I think 7 years as pro bono is enough. Porsche purist in Sweden needs to pay tribute to Targa. Targa was first used in 1966 and is still a trademark of Porsche. In 1996, Porsche removed the Targa roll bar for the benefit of a glass roof. The glass roof was retractable underneath instead of today's outward opening. That got me thinking, is the Carrera with the option €2,300 option glass roof a Targa? I am currently driving in 120 kilometers an hour on the Swedish highway with my sunroof fully open. It just gives me a breath fresh air, and it is such a well-designed option. I can easily pull down the side window and I get as much experience of bringing in nature to the art of driving as I do with the Targa. Settle then, it's a tie between the Targa and the Carrera, which leads us to a very important aspect, the looks. Well, if you ask me, I must admit it's not my taste of the 911 series, but if you ask the new generations or women, just ask our queen, they will prefer the Targa. There is a big perk driving the Targa, the engine noise. Ooh! And despite the wind noise that you get as a part of the experience driving an open car, the tone of the engine in the 992 Targa is much better in comparison to the other 911, and let me explain why. If you have ever built car audio, well, this is my explanation of the better sound in the Targa. This is the bass box, and the element, the speaker element, is the engine behind. And this platform here creates the bottom of the box. They have added this bar with a gap between the seats that rest tight against the wall. And then when you put down the roof, the beat box is completed. The speaker element, well, in this case the beautiful flat-tick engine, will create their noise. The sound composer in the car will amplify that, and the sound passes through to the happy owner.
And with the roof closed behind the rear seats, the area is flatter and closer to the engine than the coupe, with less isolated material applied. The Targa roll bar creates the true elegance the name deserves, and with its transformer lookalike roof operation,
it is a party piece to open and close the Targa roof, but I cannot help myself getting a bit stressed of the spectacular engineering of this construction. All these uniballs, wires, hooks needs to work together. I can just imagine 50 years from now someone is trying to scratch their head renovating all these pieces just to get the parts and lids and I don't know. Ooh, don't touch this, Janko, it's gonna break. And this is, the entire car is moving when I do like this. It is a lot of kilos, 110 actually, that needs to, this is not my kind of music. I wonder what happened if I loosen this one. And this, it's someone has put some hour into this. My gosh. There is no secret that I love the base Carrera when it comes to B-road drive. The only thing I miss is the Porsche torque vectoring system. But now I have in the Targa 4, and I've added the 50 kilos for the four-wheel drive system that is rear biased, by the way. And when I come to a corner, heavy braking, I take the extra 110 kilo for the Targa equipment, and then it starts to feel. The brakes is also something that I mentioned during my drive on the base Carrera, and it is not getting bad in putting that 160 kilo extra on this car, but it is still a blast to drive, just for sure. Not good when you have to brake a car, and the suspension has to work much harder to cope with the extra weight. So yes, the overall experience isn't that brilliant in the Targa 4 on the B roads as it is with the base Carrera. A big contributor to the comfort in the Targa is this wind deflector introduced in the 991 Targa. It is a simple manual operation by pushing it down and upwards, and it affects the way the wind travels around the open area. Please do not just adjust according to the speed you're traveling in, because I have noticed that it also affects the wind direction in the area where you're currently driving. As usual, open cars use the passenger and driver's window to adjust the comfort level as well. I'm going to talk about the Targa roof, because when I talked about my Spider, everybody said, I cannot stand that manual top, blah, 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 I want the convertible, just push the button. But then I have to address the Targa roof as well, because it needs to be at fully stop in order to open and close the roof. Where, you know, in the convertible you can be at about 50 kilometers an hour and still be able to close and open the roof. What is then most suitable for you? I don't know, but I think it is okay to be at fully stop to open and close the roof. But I know so many other people has issue with it.
You might be surprised, but the 992 convertible has less drag with all windows down in 120 km an hour than the Targa. In Sweden, we have a spoken language that reads, if you want to look good, you have to suffer. The convertible looks like a soap dish in comparison to the Targa.
Bear with me, a lot of information, but for those that actually option up the Targa, I believe this could be useful information. Look at the Targa roll bar. It is dressed in race tags and the A-pillar is in leather. In this case, they are matching color. But if you, for an example, take the two-tones exclusive leather interior, well, we will have different colors between the roll bar and the A-pillar. In fact, I would actually prefer to have it in race tags, because roof linings is something race tags matches perfectly in my taste anyway. But that is not possible. There is no tick to have those in race tags. Also, if you look at the color, the only place where I've seen matching color except for black is the Design Heritage package, where they are beige. Well, what I'm looking at, I think I would have the sun visor in race tags. I would like to see the A-pillar in race tag and the roll bar in race tag with matching color. But in that case, I'm looking at the CXX option. Porsche Active Suspension Management. Work with it when you drive your Targa 4. Make sure you test switch on and off, and make sure to feel the difference, because when you start to push the car, you immediately want to be in the sport mode in the suspension. Throw down a couple of gears and you will actually feel that on a straight acceleration. And not to talk about now getting into a corner like this and pushing it, you need that extra stability. And in the braking, you don't get so much body movement during the braking, etc. So Porsche Active Suspension is actually something that I work much intense with in comparison to the other Porsche model. Well, the 160 kilo that we add definitely, well, affects the performance. Remember, it's still a 911 performance. The most important option for the 992 is actually the W4, sound isolating window and lightweight. But they are not available for the Targa, and perhaps the reason is quite simple. You should always have your Targa roof down. It feels a lot like a ping pong game when I tried to option out the Targa with all the, all the heritage and the classic history of Porsche the Targa brand stand for, if I should have the roll bar in black or in this case in aluminium. I'm so curious what you think. Leave a comment below. Oh, the engine noise. Oh, I mean, it is a big difference in this vehicle. There is it just is. And remember, if you have a top down, doesn't matter if it is a roof, a glass roof, or in this case the Targa tunnels. Just love the tunnels when you accelerate out of them. And it's so childish, yes I know, but you get that beautiful flat six sound. And it's like a playground. I mean, we are grown-up people here, but oh, just pushing a 911 out of the corner is just something special. Braking, shift down, find the exit, through a couple of deers way, and bang. Oh, spring is in the air, the roof is down. I feel elegant in a Targa, even though I'm not sure I'm that elegant to suit this type of vehicle. But it is a true blast to drive. Still irritates me that I have to push a button on the so-called PD-core gearbox. Let's put it in normal mode. Put that cruise control in. Perhaps it feels like a Panamera GTS in its character. Yeah, it actually does. It feels strange because the Panamera is so much larger in comparison to a Targa 4. But I get kind of the same feeling, because don't underestimate the Panamera GTS when it comes to performance and driving, and just having the flexibility of 4 doors and still, from my perspective, a sporty experience. You don't need to buy a Targa to bring in the nature in the art of driving. A Carrera with a glass sunroof would do the same job. To get most of the nature into your driving, I do recommend a convertible, perhaps with rear-wheel drive, to save those kilos. But the Targa is such an elegant 911. It is a total level of elegance in comparison to all other 911. Just ask our king. For whom is the Targa? Well, for the gentleman that wants to impress the women and the upcoming generation and have the elegance it takes to drive a Targa.